Hello, my beautiful family. So we are going to be meeting in the kitchen tonight. I want everybody to gather, grab your aprons, let's go, let's have some fun. We're going Mediterranean style with low carb. We're going to be making some chicken specchel and some bean, well, it's supposed to be a 3-bean salad. I'll explain all that once we get in there. I'm not going to actually use all 3 because it's just me, but we'll get into that. Let's go in the kitchen because we ain't going to waste no time. Okay, so tonight is 100% all the Mediterranean dish, and it is chicken schnitzel. So we are going to be having that. I am actually going to have a 3-bean salad, and James is going to actually have, let's see, yeah, Mr. James is going to have a regular salad. So, and then we're going to have some avocado on the side. So to explain this, since this is actually a rather big recipe, I'm actually going to cut the beans down to 2 for me. Now the recipe actually calls for cannelli beans, chickpeas, and red kidney beans. Now I didn't have any, but I did have some black beans, and she did mention that we can interact beans as much as we wanted to. So actually, my choice tonight, I am going to be using the cannelli beans, and I am going to be using my home canned black beans, and I'm going to leave the chickpeas set aside tonight and use that probably for making hummus another time. So I am going to get these drained and rinsed, and we will get this salad put together. Okay, in the Mediterranean world, legumes such as lentils, and I have red and I have brown, beans, all of these are highly encouraged to be used since they are an excellent fiber source, and fiber is considered one of the best things that we can use in the Mediterranean world. So legumes and beans are highly encouraged. However, if you are a diabetic, this makes it hard. This is where we have to find alternatives to your fiber sources to replace this, or occasionally you can use, just like the cannellis, if you do eat beans, you want to eat the ones like white beans, navy, or not navy, but northern beans, the low glycemic ones. Black beans are another one, still in moderation. So in all these recipes that I'm using tonight, instead of writing these out, I'm going to leave a link for you to go straight to the recipe to make it easy for you, and then you can save it for yourself. So we're going to actually use, again, I said I'm only using 2 kinds of beans. So I done strained my beans, and I am going to be using, this is still too much for me, but I'll eat it over time. I'm going to be using black beans that I home canned and my cannelli beans. Then I'm going to be adding chopped bell pepper, green bell pepper, and a chopped red bell pepper. And we're going to be adding this. Now, I will say that it's the canned, she used cans, and so it's 1 15-ounce cans of kidney, cannelli, and chickpeas, drained and rinsed. It is 1 green bell pepper chopped, 1 red bell pepper chopped, a half of an English cucumber diced, and 1 cup of chopped red onion, and that's what I have here is red onion and cucumber, and I'm going to add this. Now I'm going to chop, it says to add 1 cup of parsley and 1.5 tablespoons of capers. Now I did get some capers, but I'm not going to use that much. But yes, it's 1.5 cups of capers, drained and roughly chopped. So let me get the capers. Okay, so I got my capers. I'm going to add to this as well. Now I'm going to add chopped parsley, and I'm going to use fresh parsley. The recipe calls for 1 cup. And I do use some of the stem. It's also a good source to use as well. And it still has a lot of flavor as much as the rest, so. Sorry y'all, trying to get this off of the top so I can cut this. Alright. Roll mine up, bunch it, and chop it. And that's it, and we're going to add that to my salad. I love these type of foods because basically I've noticed Mediterranean dish has some beautiful meals within minutes. It doesn't take long to create and make a meal. So the next thing was 10 to 15 fresh mint leaves and 10 to 15 fresh basil. So, and it's called for gently chopping. So naturally it's just me, so I'm not going to make as much, but you guys get the idea. I'm just going to gently chop these so I don't release just all the oils and then make it wilty. Yeah. Okay. And I'm going to add my basil. And next is going to be my mint. And I am using homegrown peppermint. When I do a falafel, I may try some of my spearmint that I have out there with it and see how that goes. Because there will be a time I'm going to be making some falafel with some hummus. I want to try and get that one down really good. And I am going to use my home canned chickpeas on that one. Let's see how it comes out versus the store-bought chickpeas that are kind of a little bit firmer than mine are. So, alright, so now we have our mint. And that's it. Now I am going to make the Dijon garlic dressing that goes with this. And we're going to add this together and let this sit for about 30 minutes while I fix the rest of the meal. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cleaned up and get our ingredients to start our dressing, get this set up, and we will get going on to the next one. Okay, y'all, so the dressing on this one is a garlic Dijon vinaigrette. That is going to go with our bean salad. So I am actually going to change this up a bit. This can be done versatile between low carb, those with diabetes and no sugar, or those who have no restrictions and like to use sugar. I'm actually going to use a sugar substitute, even though it's me, because I'm trying to cut down on my sugar intake. So it's going to start out with 1 to 2 cloves of minced garlic. It's going to be, let's see, a half a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. I've almost went through this jar. This is my homemade Dijon, by the way, the home canned. Go just a tiny bit more here. One teaspoon of sugar. Again, I am going to be using sugar substitute. You're welcome to use any kind of sugar you want to. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and I am pretty much going to use 1 lemon, the whole entire thing, and I'm going to be adding it to my dressing. I'm rolling this out to release the juice inside of it. Before I do this, I'm also going to peel my rind because I can use that. Let's see if I can find a good peeler. If not, I'll have to use a knife. I don't remember if this one worked or not. No. Alright, I'm just going to use a knife because I ain't going to fool with it. So, the reason I like to do this while it's actually on the lemon is because it makes it easier than afterwards. I'm just grazing along. I should have done this beforehand, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this, y'all, so you're not sitting here watching me, because I'm gonna try to make this one simplified, yet I mean, I want to make our kitchen time enjoyable and not boring. So let me get this done and we'll be right back. Okay, now we got that done. So now cut them in half, and I'm going to juice both of these and get 2 tablespoons worth of juice out of this lemon. I got this little container. It's kind of cool. I got it actually from Dollar Tree. It makes a really good dressing container. I'll show you what it looks like in a minute after everything is done. Oh, and I just learned, I'm going to have to check this out. Our Dollar General, I just learned today, I haven't been there in quite a while, but evidently they got produce. So, and I've heard that they were going to start doing that in some stores. So I'm going to go check that out. Probably tomorrow. Okay, so there's our lemon juice. Set this aside for right now. And now I am going to use 1/4 cup of olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil. And y'all know I'm using my Pratanas. I'm going to have to get some more too. I love this stuff. It's got such a beautiful flavor. Alright, now I need some salt and some pepper. Just going to add it to taste. I will taste this as soon as I get this all mixed up. I'm going to add a little bit of pepper, black ground pepper. And now we're going to mix it up. Now I'm going to use a fork for this, but I could have shook it up too. Smells amazing. Alright. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, y'all. So I'm at the little container right here. This is kind of cool, y'all. So it has a little locking device up there at the top. And you can literally turn it and then just shake your dressings just like so. Mix it up and there you go. So I love that thing. It was $1.25 and very much worth it. So at this point we take our dressing, and I think what I am going to do, not to mix, well, no, I've got to mix it all together. So I'm actually going to take this. I'm not going to use the whole thing because this was for the whole recipe, and remember, I didn't use that whole thing. So I'm just going to lightly coat this. And then I'm going to let this sit in the fridge up until, well, for about at least 30 minutes. And that'll give me enough time to make the chicken schnitzel. I'm going to add just a tad bit more to this. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you can always tell the scent of these foods so fresh. It's just absolutely amazing. And this didn't really take any time at all. Alright, so there is our Mediterranean bean salad. And now we're going to move on to our next dish. Okay, y'all, so we are preparing right now our chicken. So what I've got is, technically I have 3 pieces of chicken breast. Now 2 of them I have already got meat malleted to a thin, and I will show you what it looks like. And the reason I have 2, one's for hubby's lunch and one's for dinner. I'm currently working on mine now because I'm going to be making these 2 different ways. One low carb style, one not. So when you get these to make a schnitzel, you want to actually just get them not super thin. I kind of killed that first one a little bit. I went a little bit too crazy, but you want to get these rather kind of thin like. So I am currently doing that right now between 2 pieces of parchment paper, and I'm just taking it just like so, and I am going to continue to do this until it's thin, and then we're going to bread this and cook it up. Okay, so now we're going to go in a broader span. Now I'm going to turn around and heat my stove, and I'm going to be adding in my cast iron. I'm going to use a cast iron skillet for this. So I'm going to be covering the bottom with olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, because I'm going to be cooking these schnitzels in that. Now, if you remember, we did the breakfast, so I am using those egg yolks for this because all I'm doing is actually using it as a coating. So I'm going to be taking some of those egg yolks, I'm going to be putting them in a dish, and I'll be coating that chicken from there. And then I am going to be putting, we're doing hubbies first. I'm going to be using the natural, or the, not natural, Lord have mercy y'all, the basic breading. I had done videos on that one before. I will add the link to that video on how to make it, but I am going to use the all-around basic breading, low carb breading for this on his. So I'm just going to add some of these yolks to this, not a whole lot of them, but it helps me to use these yolks. It's an egg source, and I'm going to use it. Okay. Now I keep his in the freezer, so I'm going to go get it out of there now and stick it in a pan while this is heating up. This won't take very long. And I'm going to add it here because that's going to be my breading mix for him. This is so simple. Now I've already added some Italian seasoning to this mix. What I didn't add is garlic. So I'm going to add some garlic powder to this as well. Now this is the replacement for him for panko. And just to refresh your memory, this is Parmesan cheese ground up with pork rinds, blended really good in the food processor. And then I added Italian seasoning to this, and now I'm going to add a little bit of garlic powder as well. So you just want to take your food processor and grind all of this up very, very well to make it into a breading. And that's all it is, y'all. It works for, well, a regular breading, but low carb and safer for a diabetic. This has absolutely worked for him, and we're just going to keep on using it. And I'm adding a little bit more of his because I have 2 of them to make. So, and then these freeze easy and store, so you can make a big mess of this, stick it in your freezer, and bring it out whenever you need it. Alright, so our eggs are mixed. Our breading is done. Our oil is heating. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start by dredging our chicken. I'm going to take one of these pieces of chicken. Now, I did pound them now, so they're a little bit slightly more delicate than if they were just the breast. Yeah, that's not going to work. I'm just going to have to come in here like this. Don't want to cooperate with me too well. I'm assuming because it's super tender. Alright, I'm going to get this coated and I'll be right back. Okay, you can't see. I noticed that. That's one reason I was checking. Alright, so I am actually putting this in here in the egg mixture. And then I am going to put it over here in the breading mix. I'm going to coat it with the breading, and then basically just like I would regular breadcrumbs. The Parmesan cheese acts like a binder to this, so it adheres very well. And then If I have to, I'll go get more to it, but I'm just lightly, like all the others, I'm packing it just like so. Alright, now I'm going to take this and we're going to, after we got it good and coated, make sure I got all of this coated. Now I'm going to actually take it to my frying pan and we're going to fry this up. And now that I brought you over there, I'm going to bring you back over toward the frying pan. Okay, there y'all go. So, yeah, I'm going to have to get some more of this breading because I got one more big piece over here. So, all I'm actually going to do is finish this off. And then once I get his finished, I will bring you back on when I start to do mine. It's basically the same thing, but we are going to use different ingredients. So, this one here is just simply formed. We're coating it with the egg mixture, patting it down, coating it with the low carb mixture, putting it in the frying pan, and we're going to fry it up on both sides. And this is it. This is actually called chicken schnitzel. It's just this easy, super quick meal, and I'll explain how we're going to dress it up for supper tonight, because I told you from now on I am going to be doing complete meals to help everybody. Let me rinse this off. I will get this last piece coated and I will be back with you. Alright, I will be back with y'all as soon as I get these two pieces done. I'm just going to do this till it's golden brown. I'm making sure that that will stick before I turn it. We just want to do this till golden brown and then make sure that it's cooked all the way through. Now it won't take long because we pounded the chicken breast and now it made it thinner, so it will cook fairly quickly. So I'm going to get the rest of this done and bring you right back. Alright y'all, so now we're going to work on mine. I did hubby's first because of this reason. On mine, I am going to, and I'm not using a whole lot of this, I'm going just to do a light brush coating of it because I'm only doing one piece. So I'm lightly coating this first with all-purpose flour. And then I'm going to dredge in my egg mixture, coat it with egg. And then I am going to be setting my coating on it like hubby's had the pork rinds. I'm actually going to be using panko. So the reason I did his first is so I do not add this carb into his food, that when he takes his blood sugar it will detect it. So I wanted to be as cautious. That looks like somebody who has allergies or whatever. I try to be cautious with him and not mixing these foods as much as I possibly can. So I'm just going to get this coated on here as much as I can, because I'm using what's left of that egg yolk on it. Alright, now I'm going to take it in my coating, my breading. Oh, y'all, I got a mess going on here. And I'm just going to coat my chicken this way. Just like I did with hubby's coating, I'm going to just gently press it in here. And I am using the Italian panko for mine. Flip it over, make sure it's good and coated all the way around. This is going to be my carb basically for the day, so I don't mind doing this. I'm very mindful of how much, again, like I've mentioned previously and actually earlier, I am adding more carbs, but I'm also being mindful how I use them. So since I would do something like this, I wouldn't add another bread source today because I am using this. If this is helping, I'm hoping these are helping you. Basically, this is the reason why I decided to go ahead and make these full meals with y'all, so that you can get an idea of how we incorporate, or how I incorporate my carbs, maintaining my weight, and to be able to use it the Mediterranean way to where we can stay maintained, or where we can actually still lose weight if we need to. So, but those who are losing weight, minimize your, you don't have to give everything up. I mean, this is not a restricting diet. It's a way of eating. You're just going to decrease the amount, basically. Alright, so just like hubby's, I am going to let this sit until it gets golden brown. And then that will be it for the end of this one. And I will show you actually how we're going to plate these up. Okay, so I currently have my stove on sitting, or my oven on sitting at 350 degrees preheated. Now, one of these sides that we're going to use is actually a baked tomato. I don't always do this. Actually, my husband, when he had a heart attack many years ago, actually, they gave him a baked tomato. He actually liked it, and I don't make it often, but I thought this would go really good with what our supper is tonight. So we're going to actually do that. This is a good type of vegetable, well, it's actually a fruit that can go with this chicken and a salad and some avocado. So all I'm going to do is actually core the center out. I did wash this, and this is not one of my farm fresh. Sadly, they're not ready to be picked yet. So it's a hot house store-bought. So now I took the core out, and I'm going to actually turn it sideways, and I'm going to cut it directly in half. And the reason for that is because this one tomato is going to be divided by the two of us instead of making even more. So I'm just going to lightly put this in here. And to keep it from rocking, I'm just going to do a small graze coarse thing at the bottom and make it flat so it'll lay down in my baking dish. Now, I'm actually going to take some olive oil and drizzle it over the top of my tomatoes. Sprinkle it with some salt and pepper. Now I'm going to get some Italian seasoning. Sprinkle that on top of this. Then I'm going to bake this until it gets tender and soft. And at the very end of it, I'm going to grate some Parmesan cheese, put it back in the oven until it melts, and that's going to be it. So we will actually have this to go with our chicken for supper tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the oven, and I'll be right back. Okay, y'all, so here comes the plating. Now we will start with hubby's. This would be his side salad, and I will give you close-ups in a minute. So this is his side salad, and then our tomatoes are come out of the oven. So I'm going to find some way to get this out of here nicely. It does not want to come out here too well. There we go. I'm going to set this aside, and that is our baked tomato. Set aside, and then I'm going to dress his chicken schnitzel. So how we're going to do that, we're going to take a little bit of greens on the top. We have the spring mix with some Swiss chard, some arugula, radicchio. Just dress that on the top. Then I'm going to take some avocado. I'm going to split this one in half between me and him. I'm actually going to cut this in half. Slice it nicely in uniform slices here. Take it around the outside or the inside of my avocado, and it's just gently going around it to lift up my slices to lay on top of my chicken, just like so. And then we're going to press a little bit of lemon juice on the top of this. Make sure there's no. I'm just gonna drizzle some lemon juice on the top, and that's it. Now that one did get, I got some seeds in here, didn't want that. All right, now pull this aside and show you what his looks like, and then we'll come to mine. So this is a low carb dish, and I'm saying this is the reason why I'm doing this with y'all. I'm spending this quality time in the kitchen with you because I want you to see, I don't care if you do have restrictions, you do not have, your plates don't have to look like it. We just didn't understand how to do this. Now granted, now that you do have somewhat restrictions, this is the reason why we made the breading suitable for those with diabetes. So let me bring this down and show you what the complete meal looks like. Okay, and here's hubby's plate. That would be his chicken with his avocado and his baked tomato. And then we have his side salad. So now we got this one. We're going to go ahead and finish mine. Okay, y'all. So like hubby's, mine is going to be the same thing, only it was cooked and prepared differently, as you saw. Now this is an awful big piece, so I am literally going to cut mine in half because I will be able to have this half for another meal. So this is good enough for me. Now I have that. I'm going to add, again, like him, my tomato. I lost my, there it is. Put my tomato on the side. Gonna dress the top of this, again, just like his, with a little bit of spring mix with some peppery arugula on the top. Going to take my avocado, and again, just like his, I'm going to bring this down through here, making slices the way across, popping it out of my shell, covering the top of this, spreading it out. And then taking my lemon juice and sprinkling the top. And then my salad was the bean salad. So I will bring you down and show you what this dish looked like. Alright, y'all. Now you see there's really not much difference. You can never really tell that there was a difference between our meals. There's just slight differences. So it kind of makes hubby, you know, think that he is, honestly, he's really no different from me. I just had to make some minor modifications. And you see we both can share the same meal, but in different forms. That salad was absolutely amazing, y'all. So I'm going to set this up and we will be ending this video in this kitchen time together. And that will end our session in the homestead kitchen tonight. I really sincerely hope that these videos help you to create beautiful meals to put on your table for you and your family, to where you can enjoy life. If you ever join any of the Mediterranean groups and you see the words WOE, just so you know, it means way of eating. And that's basically the Mediterranean life is. It's just our way of eating. It's not a diet per se. Though we may have to do some alterations and substitutions for diabetics, it doesn't mean that we have to be any different than anybody else. It's just that we have to change some of the ways we eat. So until our next session and another beautiful meal gets created in our kitchen, I hope you enjoyed this. Again, I will put the links. It's actually going to be easier to put the links to these recipes from the Mediterranean dish. And these came from her online website. So she's got a library of recipes for you all as well. For those who don't have her cookbook or not able to right now, the reason I'm going to put that link in there is so that you have a library for yourselves as well. And if you end up finding something that you absolutely like but are unsure of how to substitute it, ask me. I'll be able to help you through it. If you see a recipe that you would like me to be able to make with you and to walk you through it, and if it needs alterations, ask me and I would be glad to work it with you if I'm able to do that. So this is what I am geared to working with you as from now on. I believe that this will make a beautiful relationship for all of us. I love family with all my heart. I love gatherings, and you are all amazing to me. So I am fixing to go eat. I am starving, and until next time, much love from Parton's Heritage Homestead.